All right, guys, I'm going to make an analogy right now, and I'm going to be vulnerable because I'm going to be susceptible to a ton of backlash, but I'm going to make an analogy on Indian clubs and hand path connection, arm path simplicity, all of these different things that I talk about a lot, or simply just the way that I throw, or the way that Nolan Ryan throws. Separate, inside the body, 90-90, connection, head placement, leverage, extension. So here's my analogy. When we're swinging clubs, okay, the club is obviously going to be a little bit heavier than a baseball, especially some of the clubs that I'm using upwards to 10 kilos, okay? So when we're swinging these clubs, okay, what we're trying to do is we're trying to use natural leverage, right, and become essentially like what makes biomechanic efficiency in terms of utilizing, I just crushed that speaker, utilizing the leverage and not putting a ton of like stress on, when I'm doing something like an internal rotation here, the arm, okay? So when we're using heavier clubs, especially, these are only 2-pounders, but what is the commonality that we see with our hands, okay? When we're moving the club, okay, so for example on something like an external here, when we're moving this club, it's going to be essentially close and connected to our body, right? We talk about hand connection. And this is kind of what I'm getting at. So if we're trying to maximize our leverage, why would we get too disconnected when we throw a baseball? Where's our leverage there? This is what I see, guys. I'm trying to kind of put this into words and simplify this approach because I have it way too overcomplicated in my head. But I think what I see, especially when it comes to just maximizing momentum, leverage, kinetic energy, and all of this, I see a lot of times with guys that get their hands disconnected away from like the center of the body, we see that they have to now make up external leverage or energy with, say, all arm, with, say, the glove side pull, whatever it is, when in reality it's like everything should be sequenced together from the ground to the hands. So it's like, you know, I almost want to sit here and kind of do some Indian club stuff and just show you how like all of the moving parts of the hands are happening or occurring close to the body to maximize that leverage. Again, I'm just now kind of getting into this concept, or I've been into the concept for a long time. I'm just now trying to grasp a way of putting it into a super simplified approach. So maybe it's going to be clubs that are going to allow me to do that. I also think that like weighted balls could be a great tool, but even like something like this, right? So this is a 5-kilo club. If I'm going to do an exercise with this, say like an overhead swing, I'm going to try to get as much leverage as possible by keeping my hands relatively connected to my body, right? If I get too disconnected and I try to do it way up here, what's going to happen, right? I'm not going to have a great amount of muscle recruitment from the big muscle groups that we want. So if I can stay a little bit more connected, I can do this fairly easy. Same thing with something like this, right? I wouldn't tell a guy to do a 5-kilo internal throw, but hey, same concept. I don't know if that made sense to anyone, but I think the more that I talk about it out loud, maybe the better I'll get at simplifying the explaining approach. Whoa, I'm out. See ya.